Welcome to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype guide. We are diving into one of the most nostalgic and story-rich decks in the game. The Shining Sarcophagus archetype is a lineup of light-themed support cards centered around the Shining Sarcophagus card itself. This archetype is known for its search-heavy gameplay, field reliance, and its ability to summon retrained versions of Yugi's classic monsters. Archfiend's Advent is your powerhouse boss monster that helps you steal control of the duel. It lets you normal summon it without tributing while you control Shining Sarcophagus, boosts all your other monsters by 500 attack during your turn, and when it's summoned, you can take control of an opponent's monster until the end phase. That monster can only attack if Shining Sarcophagus was on the field when you activated the effect. Best to use it when your field is already set up with Shining Sarcophagus to steal and swing with your opponent's strongest monster for massive damage. Silent Magician Zero is your spell negator and growing attacker. It gains levels every time your opponent draws cards, and for each level above its original, it gains 500 attack. When your opponent activates a spell card or effect while you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can negate it and increase this card's level by 1. Best to keep it on the field with Shining Sarcophagus active to constantly punish your opponent's spell plays and stack attack boosts over time. Silent Swordsman Zero is your protection from targeting effects. It increases its level during each standby phase, and gains 500 attack for every level above its original. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets Shining Sarcophagus, or a monster that mentions it, you can negate it and increase this card's level by 1. Best to keep this card on board alongside Shining Sarcophagus for ongoing protection and to build up attack as the duel goes on. Gadget Trio is your main searcher and setup piece. When it's summoned, it lets you add Shining Sarcophagus or a spell or trap that mentions it from your deck to your hand. If it's destroyed by battle or effect, you can set Stronghold the Hidden Fortress straight from your deck. Best to summon this early to search out Shining Sarcophagus, and if it gets destroyed, you still gain field presence with Stronghold ready for defense. Marshmallow is your defensive wall and burn damage dealer. While you control Shining Sarcophagus, it can't be destroyed by battle, and your opponent can only attack it. It can special summon itself from your hand during your opponent's turn, and if it's destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon another Marshmallow from your deck, GY, or Banished Zone, and deal 1000 damage to your opponent. Best to use it to stall your opponent's plays and chip away at their life points while maintaining a solid defense. Dark Magician the Magician of Black Magic is your Dark Magician counterpart for the Shining Sarcophagus setup. Its name becomes Dark Magician on the field, and if Shining Sarcophagus is on the field, you can special summon it from your hand. If it's destroyed by a card effect while a level 5 or higher monster is on the field, you can revive it and set a spell or trap that mentions Dark Magician from your deck. Best to combo it with Dark Magician Girl the Magician's Apprentice or other support cards for quick revival and resource advantage. Dark Magician Girl the Magician's Apprentice is your quick setup and attack booster. You can special summon it from your hand by discarding a card, and when summoned, you can add Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. It also gains 300 attack for each monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus in either GY. Best to use it early to grab Shining Sarcophagus, then build up attack as your duel progresses. Berry Magician Girl is your Magician Searcher and Defense tool. When it's normal summoned, it adds a Magician Girl monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, when it's targeted by an attack or effect, you can change its battle position and special summon another Magician Girl from your deck. Best to normal summon it early for searches, then use its effect to swarm your field with another Magician Girl for defense or setup. Gandora G, the Dragon of Destruction, is your destructive finisher. It gains 300 attack for each banished card, and if you control Shining Sarcophagus, you can special summon it from your hand. By paying half your life points, it destroys and banishes all other cards on the field, then lets you special summon a level 7 or lower monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck, boosting that monster's level by the number of destroyed cards. Best to unleash this when you need to clear the board completely and set up for a winning blow. Jigara's Gondora, the Dragon of Destruction, is your ultimate boss monster for total field wipes. You can only special summon it by sending 2 other monsters from your hand or field to the GY. It gains 300 attack per banished card, and once per turn, you can pay half your life points to activate effects based on how many different Gondora monsters you have in your GY. Destroy everything, banish everything, or even banish all cards on the field and in both GYs. Best to summon it as a game-ending play once your Gondora cards are set up to maximize its devastating effects. Dark Cavalry is your piercing attacker and targeting negator. It gains 100 attack for each spell and trap on the field and in the GYs, deals piercing damage when attacking defense position monsters, and can discard a card to negate and destroy any effect that targets a card on the field. Best to use it for heavy offense while keeping your Shining Sarcophagus and other cards safe from targeting effects. Dark Magician the Dragon Knight is your ultimate spell or trap protector. Its name becomes Dark Magician on the field and in the GY, and it prevents your opponent from targeting or destroying your spells and traps with card effects. Best to keep this on the field alongside Shining Sarcophagus to make your back row completely untouchable. Dark Magician Girl the Dragon Knight is your flexible removal card. Once per turn, you can send a card from your hand to the GY to target and destroy any face-up card on the field. Best to fusion summon her using the Eye of Timaeus when you need quick, targeted destruction while keeping your Magician Girl synergy active. Dark Magician of Destruction is your spell-powered boss monster and searcher. You can fusion summon it with Dark Magician and a light or dark monster, or special summon it by banishing a level 6 or higher dark spellcaster you control after activating a spell. When it's special summoned, you can add Dark Magician or any card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, and its name becomes Dark Magician on the field and in the GY. Best to summon it during your combos for easy searching and strong field presence. Guardian Chimera is your balanced draw and destruction fusion. When fusion summon using cards from both your hand and field, it lets you draw cards equal to the number of materials used from your hand, then destroy your opponent's cards equal to the number used from the field. Plus, if polymerization is in your GY, it can't be targeted by your opponent's effects. Best to fusion summon it mid or late game to refill your hand while clearing your opponent's board. Mysterion the Dragon Crown is your monster type banisher. When a monster activates its effect to special summon itself or another monster of the same type, you can banish that monster and all other monsters of that same type on the field. It can't be used as fusion material, but that's fine. It's a powerful control option. Best to bring it out against decks that rely on one monster type like dragons or warriors for total field wipes. Nightmare Eyes Restrict is your absorber and battlefield tank. When it's special summoned, or after it battles, you can equip one of your opponent's monsters to it as an equip spell. It gains attack equal to the combined attack of all equipped monsters, and your opponent can only attack this monster. Best to use it to neutralize your opponent's boss monsters and turn their own strength against them. Red Ice Dark Dragoon is your near-unstoppable fusion boss. It can't be destroyed or targeted by card effects, and during your main phase, it can destroy an opponent's monster and inflict damage equal to that monster's original attack. It can also negate and destroy a card or effect by discarding a card, gaining 1000 attack each time it does. Best to summon it using Dark Magician and Red Ice Black Dragon for unmatched protection and game-ending power. Secretarian Dragon is your anti-dragon and anti-spellcaster control card. While you control it, your opponent can't activate the effects of their special summon dragon or spellcaster monsters. It also lets you target a dragon and a spellcaster in your GY, special summon one, and return the other to your deck. Best to use it to lock down mirror matches or dragon-heavy decks while recycling your own resources. Timaeus the United Magidragon is your unstoppable fusion warrior. After it's summoned, it becomes completely unaffected by other cards' effects until the end of your next turn. It can gain 100 attack for each spell in both GYs and banished zones when it battles, and once per turn during your opponent's turn, you can destroy a spell or trap on the field. Best to summon this as your main boss monster for both protection and offensive pressure, especially in a Shining Sarcophagus deck full of spells. Baron de Fleur is your all-around synchro powerhouse and negator. Once per turn, it lets you target and destroy any card on the field, and once while it's face-up, you can negate and destroy a card or effect activation. During your standby phase, you can also return it to your extra deck to revive a level 9 or lower monster from your GY. Best to use Baron de Fleur for its flexibility, whether you need field control, a negate, or a way to recycle your resources for later turns. Bestial Dissipator is your dragon-type control and revival synchro. It lets you special summon a banished light or dark monster to your field, and when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can shuffle a banished card back into the deck. Either destroy that monster or negate the activation, depending on whose card you returned. Best to summon this when you have several banished monsters, turning your banished zone into a toolbox for both revival and disruption. Chaos Angel is your field-clearing banisher and protection enabler. When special summoned, it banishes one card on the field, and depending on the attributes used for its synchro summon, it gains strong protection effects. Light gives your synchros immunity to opponents' monster effects, and Dark makes your monsters indestructible by battle. Best to use Chaos Angel when mixing light and dark monsters, letting you banish threats while keeping your field nearly untouchable. Groza, Tyrant of Thunder, is your Fiend-type negator and tank. During your opponent's main phase, you can discard a monster to negate the effect of one face-up monster on the field. Also, whenever a Fiend monster is sent from your hand to the GY, you can choose to make Groza immune to battle, destruction, or targeting for the rest of the turn. Best to use it in hands with discard synergy. It disrupts your opponent's plays while keeping itself safe. Barricade Board Blocker is your simple but effective link for spell recovery and protection. When Link summoned, you can discard a card to add a continuous or field spell from your GY to your hand during the end phase. Plus, face-up spells you control can't be destroyed by your opponent's effects. Best to Link summon it early to recycle Shining Sarcophagus or protect it from removal. Miasma Necromancer is your dark spellcaster link that extends your plays. When Link summoned, it lets you add a level 5 or higher dark spellcaster from your GY to your hand, though you can't use that card's effects for the rest of the turn. You can also send a spell or trap to the GY to immediately normal summon a spellcaster monster. Best to use this for reviving your Dark Magician engine and keeping your combos going through extra normal summons. Puzzlemino, the Dropenda Leader, is your level manipulation and destruction link. When a monster is special summoned to a zone it points to, you can declare a level from 1 to 8 to make that monster become that level until the end of the turn. You can also target 2 monsters with the same level from each field and destroy them. Best to use this to set up precise synchro or exceeds plays, or to clear a problem monster while maintaining your setup. Silhouette Rabbit is your tricky utility link and back row destroyer. When Link summoned, you can set a continuous trap directly from your deck that can special summon itself as a monster, and if a card in the spell and trap zone is special summoned to the monster zone, you can destroy one spell or trap your opponent controls. Best to use Silhouette Rabbit for decks with traps that double as monsters, creating a chain of summons and destruction. Black Luster Soldier of Chaos is your unstoppable Link boss monster. If it was Link summoned using a level 7 or higher monster, it can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects. When it destroys a monster by battle, you can choose one of 3 powerful effects: gain 1500 attack, make a second attack next turn, or banish a card on the field. Best to summon it using a high-level monster like Dark Magician, the Magician of Black Magic, to unlock its full protection and turn it into your game-ending threat. Shining Sarcophagus is your main field core and search engine. It lets you add any card that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand once per turn, and if your opponent special summons from the GY, you can discard a spell to send one of those monsters right back to the GY. Best to activate this early. It sets up your combo pieces, protects itself from monster effects, and punishes your opponent for reviving monsters. Ebon's Sun is your recovery and power boost engine. It lets you gain life points equal to the combined attack of your destroyed monsters, boosts any monster revived from your GY by 1000 attack, and even recycles a discarded spell or trap back to your hand. Best to use this alongside cards that discard for cost, so you can immediately recover your resources and strengthen your field presence. Sudden Thunder Swamp is your setup and recycle card. On activation, you can discard a card to set a continuous trap straight from your deck or GY that can special summon itself as a monster. Plus, if any of your cards are destroyed and sent to the GY or banished, you can add another copy of it from your deck. Best to use this to instantly set up your stronghold, the Hidden Fortress, or other trap monsters, keeping your field ready for counterplay. Future Silence is your quick search and hand advantage spell. It adds a monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand, and if activated during the battle phase while you control Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, both players draw until they have 6 cards. Best to use it in the battle phase to refill your hand while also maintaining tempo in the duel. Turn Silence is your level booster and negation tool. It targets a monster you control to increase its level by 3, and if activated in response to an opponent's monster effect while you control Shining Sarcophagus and a related monster, you can negate that effect. From the GY, it can banish itself to end the battle phase when your Shining Sarcophagus monster is battling. Best to keep it ready as both protection and combo extender for your synchro or exceeds plays. Silent Sword Slash is your protection and OTK enabler for Silent Swordsman. It gives your Silent Swordsman monster plus 1500 attack and defense and makes it unaffected by your opponent's card effects for the rest of the turn. Its activation and effect can't be negated, and you can banish it from the GY to search another Silent Swordsman. Best to use this offensively to push for game or defensively to keep your boss monster untouchable. Silent Burning is your draw and search tool for Silent Magician. During the battle phase, if you control a Silent Magician and have more cards in hand than your opponent, both players draw until they have 6 cards. It can't be negated, and from the GY, you can banish it to add a Silent Magician from your deck to your hand. Best to use this when you've built a strong hand to capitalize on free draws and follow up with a search next turn. Ties That Bind is your swarm enabler and combo starter. If you control Shining Sarcophagus and a monster that mentions it, you can special summon up to 2 different level 4 or lower monsters that also mention Shining Sarcophagus from your hand or deck. After it resolves, you can't special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. Best to use this early in your turn to build your field fast for big synchro or Xyz setups before committing to extra deck plays later. Dark Magic Mirror Force is your upgraded defensive nuke. When your opponent attacks or activates an effect that would destroy monsters, and you control a monster that mentions Shining Sarcophagus, it destroys all attack position monsters your opponent controls. If you also control Dark Magician, it inflicts 500 damage for each monster destroyed, and your Shining Sarcophagus monsters gain a one-time protection from destruction that turn. Best to set this as your main counter against aggressive boards. It wipes the field and turns defense into burn damage. Stronghold the Hidden Fortress is your trap monster and defensive wall. It special summons itself as a level 4 machine with 2000 defense, and it gains 1000 attack for every Shining Sarcophagus and monster that mentions it you control. Once per turn, when your opponent declares an attack while you control Shining Sarcophagus, it can destroy that attacking monster. Best to use this as both a wall and attacker. Its attack scales fast, and it punishes your opponent for trying to push through your defenses. The main goal of the deck is to get Shining Sarcophagus onto the field as soon as possible. Everything in this deck revolves around Shining Sarcophagus. It acts as your main engine piece, letting you search any card that mentions it and protecting itself from destruction by monster effects. This makes it the heart of your entire playstyle. Keeping it on the field is your top priority. Once that's set up, the deck can flow into powerful combos, searches, and boss monsters that control the game through board presence and effect negation. The deck has multiple in-theme searchers that keep your hand full. Gadget Trio can search for Shining Sarcophagus or a spell that mentions it. Future Silence searches for monsters like Silent Magician 0 or Silent Swordsman 0, and Dark Magician Girl the Magician's Apprentice can special summon itself by discarding a card while fetching Shining Sarcophagus. These cards ensure that you always have access to your key pieces, even in grindy duels. Once your field is set up, you can bring out your boss monster Gandoriji, the Dragon of Destruction. If you control Shining Sarcophagus, Gandorij can destroy and banish all other cards on the field and then special summon another archetype monster straight from the deck. Because Shining Sarcophagus can't be destroyed by monster effects, it stays on the field while your opponent's board gets wiped. It's one of the most satisfying finishers in the deck. The archetype also focuses on Silent Magician 0 and Silent Swordsman 0 as your main endboard pieces. With cards like Ties That Bind, you can easily special summon them while gaining attack boosts for your entire field. These monsters provide powerful negation effects. Silent Magician negates spells, while Silent Swordsman negates monster effects, making your setup both offensive and defensive. Because the deck doesn't rely on the GY and often locks itself out of the extra deck, especially when using Ties That Bind, you can safely use disruptive cards like Dimension Shifter or Nadir Servant. Some players also run a small super heavy samurai engine to summon Gear Gigant X, letting them search Gadget Trio without using their normal summon. This makes the deck surprisingly flexible for both casual and competitive builds. However, despite its strong synergy and control tools, the Shining Sarcophagus archetype comes with several weaknesses that duelists need to be aware of. Without Shining Sarcophagus, most of your cards simply can't function. Losing it early to a Cosmic Cyclone or Mystical Space Typhoon can completely stop your plays. Since almost all your effects depend on its presence, protecting it is critical. A card like Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell can end your duel instantly if it resolves against Shining Sarcophagus. Once that happens, you can't activate another copy for the rest of the game, leaving your entire deck unplayable. While the deck has multiple searchers, it still depends on drawing the right combinations early. If Gadget Trio or Future Silence get stopped by a Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring or Infinite Impermanence, you'll struggle to access your main card. Modern meta decks that combo off on turn 1 can overwhelm Shining Sarcophagus before it's even set up. The deck doesn't have many hand traps or instant response cards, which makes it hard to deal with fast boards unless you go second with Disruption tools. Although Gandoriji, the Dragon of Destruction, can clear the board, its effect is an ignition effect, meaning it can only activate during your main phase, and it's vulnerable to quick effect negations or removals like Effect Veiler or Imperm. If Ash Blossom stops its special summon effect, you're left with nothing but an empty field. Therefore, the Shining Sarcophagus archetype is a strategic, lore-rich control deck that rewards careful planning and smart sequencing. It's a love letter to the original Yugi Muto playstyle, relying on resource management, defensive tactics, and comeback potential rather than raw speed. So if you love classic Duel Monsters nostalgia, decks that blend old-school flavor with modern mechanics, and the thrill of turning Yugi's iconic cards into real competitive plays, the Shining Sarcophagus deck is the perfect choice for you. Step into the duel with the heart of the cards, and let the light of the Shining Sarcophagus guide your victory.